My mom let the man who forcefully slept with me hold my daughter, then cried when I took her away. When I told her I'd never forgive her, she said, "You should be over it by now because it happened so long ago." I walked away. That was a decade ago. Last month, she died alone in a hospital bed hooked up to machines. I was essayed by my boyfriend's, now husband Ryan, ex-best friend Jack when I was 16. My mother never liked my husband because she wanted me to be with Jack since he came from a good family. So when Jack had his way with me, she didn't believe me despite all the evidence that he had done this. Jack's mom was also my mom's boss, so I think that might have had a huge part in her not believing me. While I was waiting for trial, I moved in with my boyfriend and his parents. During this time, I found out I was pregnant, and I knew it wasn't my boyfriend's because we were never intimate, and I was never with anyone like that beforehand. Jack ended up taking a plea deal and got no jail time in exchange for him never having any right to see my daughter. When my daughter was born, my mother asked me to move back home and said sorry for everything she did. A year after my daughter, Emma, was born, I went to college a few hours away, and my mom retired early to watch her while I went to college. During the week, I stayed on campus and went home on the weekends. I also called every night to make sure my daughter was okay. One day we had a big snowstorm, and my Thursday and Friday classes were canceled, so I went home early without telling my mom, and guess who was in the kitchen when I walked in? Jack's mom, my mom, and Jack. Jack was also holding Emma when I walked in. They were surprised to say the least, and I started flipping out and grabbed my daughter and packed a bag with her stuff. My mother and Jack's mother were pleading with me to not leave while I was packing. When I went to leave, my mom was crying now, begging me to forgive her. I said I would never forgive her and went to walk out. On my way out, Jack grabbed my arm and said I should be nicer to my mother. My mother called me hundreds of times, but I never answered her. I left to get an apartment with my husband and daughter. I also got a babysitter for when I was in class. A week after this incident, my mother put over $100,000 in my bank account to buy me over or get me to talk to her. I didn't even know where she got that money from. My younger sister got married years after this happened, and I had to interact with my mom again. I had to be civil with her as she asked about Emma, who she hadn't seen in 10 years, my son Tyler, and my current pregnancy. She told me how she wanted to fix things with me and see her grandkids before she eventually dies. She even claimed she always believed me about the salt. She just didn't want to be fired. I asked her if she still hangs out with Jack's mother. She said sometimes, but mostly at church. I left the conversation at that. I was pissed because on top of allowing Jack to see my daughter, she hangs out with the woman who went around town telling everyone that I was a lying SLet, that Jack hadn't taken advantage of me and we actually slept together and I felt guilty about it, and lied saying he worded me. When I got home, I was pissed off and just needed to cool down. I thought a lot that night about what happened, and the next day I made the decision to call my mom for the first time in 10 years. I wanted to talk to her more and see if we could move forward from what happened and see if I could forgive her. The conversation went well at first. We were talking about current things in our life, but then the conversation turned into church, which led to her talking about Jack. She felt the need to inform me how much my daughter looks like his other kids, because apparently I'm supposed to care. I told her I did not want to talk about him, but she continued. She said he's a better person now, and feels terrible for what he did, and how I should forgive him because it happened so long ago. You should be over it by now, she said. I got pissed. My mother has never heard about what happened from me. She only ever listened to his story about what happened. So I told her what happened, what really happened, and how her talking about the man who assaulted me will make me have zero respect for her. I told her to never call me to keep our relationship the way it's been for the last years because she is never going to change. I ended with telling her I would never bring any of my kids around her because I couldn't trust her to be around them. After hanging up the phone, I blocked my mom's number. The next few months were quiet. I focused on my pregnancy, my kids, and building our life without my mother's drama. My husband was supportive, always checking in on me and making sure I was okay. Then the calls started coming in from relatives. My Aunt Elizabeth called first, asking why I had cut my mom off for no reason. My cousin Jordan texted next, saying my mom had been crying at family